with their one guest visiting here today and tomorrow. In fact, it was originally going to just be one day, and then we had so much demand from customers that we actually stretched it out over 2 days. That's, I think, a good sign when customers are willing to travel from all around the world to come visit the factory and just get a test ride. And we're not even offering test drives because there's so many people coming that we don't have enough. We only have 3 beta cars available today. So we don't even have to offer people test drives. We can only offer them a test ride. And still over 3,000 people are coming. I think that says a lot about how much our customers care about the product. So in terms of the Model S, you haven't had a chance to test ride it, I guess, but you will hopefully have a chance to do so in the next few hours. Next few minutes, hopefully. The car, I think, is really going to give you a different feel than almost any other car because the center of gravity is so low. With the battery pack that's in the floor pan, you have a center of gravity that's lower than most sports cars. So it's right in line with the axles. So whereas you normally experience when you accelerate and brake, or when you turn, you have dive back and forth or body roll, and that's because normally in a luxury sedan you've got this big engine which is high above the axles, and it acts like a bobblehead, puts a mass on its brake. But you don't have that, so it's just a fundamentally different feel. It's a sports car feel and control and handling, but in a luxury sedan, and that's just in no other car in the world, no other luxury sedan in the world. And that's why we say we think this is a car that is better than people think a car can be of this type. You'll also see that it can seat 5 adults and 2 children, as we promised. But there was some skepticism about that. And not only that, there's a trunk in the front that's quite significant and quite roomy. The luggage space of the Model S is twice as much as a comparably sized premium sedan. So if you were to compare it to, say, a BMW 5 Series, it's got more than twice the luggage space of the BMW 5 Series, despite being of similar external dimensions. So in terms of its functionality and what it can do, it's really in a class of its own. We've mentioned the sort of 0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds. That's what the standard 300-mile range car will do. But actually, something we'll be announcing today is that there's going to be a performance version of the Model S available at start of production in the middle of next year, which will do 0 to 60 in under 4.5 seconds. So that's better than most sports cars. I think it's better than a Porsche 911, basic 911 Carrera. Not bad for an electric luxury sedan.
When did you say that?
That will be available at start of production. So available from the middle of next year on, when regular production starts. So you'll just be able to. So effectively, there will be 4 versions of the car. There will be the 160-mile, 230-mile, 300-mile, and then the performance version, which is with the 300-mile pack, but with an enhanced power electronics. So it's something we call base current amplification, going from 900 amps to 1200 amps, and that's what gives you the added acceleration. So I think that's pretty exciting. And it actually will also be offering aerodynamic wheels that will enable a 320-mile range. So there was some skepticism of, will we actually be even able to offer a 300-mile range car? We're going to do better than that. We're going to do 320 miles. And that's 320 miles as measured by an EPA 2-cycle test. So the same metric that is used for the Tesla Roadster. What else? The car has sort of a smart air suspension, which means it can raise and lower the height of the car. And so if you're going through snow or ice, the car you can raise the car. If your driveway has a sharp angle, you can also raise the car whenever you just press a button and raise the car. And then on a highway, it'll automatically hunker down for maximum efficiency. So it'll just lower itself slightly and maximize the efficiency. It'll also automatically adjust for load. So if you've got 7 people and luggage, or it's just one person, you want the ride height to change accordingly. Let's see, what else? It has a 17-inch touchscreen display with currently with 3G access, but at the start of production it will have 4G access. And you can browse the web, you can look at Google Maps, it's got navigation, you can stream any kind of media. It's basically like a giant iPad in the center of your car. In fact, it's big enough that you can actually have effectively 2 iPads, one on top of the other, in terms of viewing space, and still have space available for controls. It has the ability to you can select any band, or let's say you want some new music. You're not happy with what's playing on the radio, or what's on your iPhone. You can actually press the button, do voice activation, and say, play the Beatles. And it'll use Google Voice, we'll go out to Google Voice, do voice recognition, then go to Slacker and pull Beatles. So you can just at will just pick, oh, I want to listen to this, I want to listen to that, anything. There's also an apps capability, so the system is built in Linux and WebKit, so any app that's written for an iPhone or Android is easily portable to run on the car. We're going to be fairly strict about what apps are allowed, because of course it's a car, so we don't want to have people do crazy things. It's one thing if your phone crashes, but it's another thing if your car is. But we work with this and apps capability. There's so much. I want to make sure I try to get to all of it, and then obviously get to your questions. In terms of charging, we have developed a fast charging capability that can charge at 90 kilowatts. That's effectively charging at 300 miles an hour. So if you stop and park the car and are charging for, say, 40 minutes, you put 200 miles back in the car. The battery pack, because it's in the floor pan of the car, great. Because it's in the floor pan of the car, it can be dropped out with the machine and switched out in under a minute. In fact, you can see the factory machinery that installs the pack in under a minute. That's out there if you've got the factory tour. So I'm not sure how much use there will be of battery pack swap capability, but we're designing that in, so if customers want it, they can use it. In terms of fit and finish, well, I certainly invite you to look at the fit and finish of the car and the details and what you think of the internal aesthetics and quality. But we've really tried to achieve a quality of the internal fit and finish that's superior to other luxury stamps at any price point, not just at the modelized price point. In terms of the paint, we're working to achieve a better paint finish. Our goal is something called a piano finish, so it looks like something that paints just something that would ordinarily be on like a beautiful grand piano. And we're working to achieve the highest level of paint technology on the car. Just every detail we want to get right. The panoramic roof is the biggest panoramic roof on any car. I believe it's the biggest panoramic roof opening of any car, period. It's so big that this is the closest thing that you can experience to a convertible. And in fact, since the car is here, maybe we should just go over there and look at the real thing. The car that customers receive will be this what you see before you. So there will be no meaningful changes between this and what customers actually receive. So you're not looking at something that's going to be somehow fundamentally different. We have actually now over 6,000 customers that have put down a deposit of at least $5,000 or more. And in fact, since our start of production is only next year, and next year we're only producing about 6,000 cars. We've actually sold out next year.
kids will be happy that they were born yet.
Hopefully at the end of this year, or potentially early next year. Want to make sure the car is just right before we unveil it. But the design is looking really good. I'm very happy with how the Model X is going. It's intended for a market that spans between the SUV and the minivan market, whereas the Model S is intended to span between the sedan and minivan market. It's got so much internal capacity that it can actually be used by someone who would ordinarily use an SUV for the Model X.
So before we take another question, we should go ahead and start. We can start test rides and continue to do questions and answers while we have journalists doing test rides. And we also have some other folks that worked on the Model S here that are